Today I'm going to be using some awesome Trinity Stamps products, and I'm going to be showing you how I add detail to my watercolour after the watercolour. Hey crafty people, it's Tasha. Welcome back to my channel. If you like this video then please do give me a thumbs up, drop a comment in the comments below, and if you aren't already subscribed I would love it if you would consider hitting that button. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made this Fun in the Sun card using our Wish You Were Here stamp and dies along with a few other goodies along the way. I was feeling in a watercolour kind of mood, so I stamped out the image onto an A2 panel of Distress watercolour cardstock, and I chose to use Distress ink to watercolour with, mainly because I wanted to use the brand new colour, Prize Ribbon. I had it sitting on my desk waiting to be used, so I used it. Now, I do enjoy watercolour. I find it quite relaxing, but I know that I have an awful lot left to learn. So my favourite way to approach this sort of an image is to lay down some colour and try and get some of the details in, some details, some shadow, highlight, etc. But not to stress too much about it, because I know that I have a secret weapon up my sleeve. So I've also got the is it Fairy Sparkle, Fairy Dust Pigment from Ink on 3, which I am mixing with some of the Distress ink just to give me a beautiful sparkly shimmery goodness on some of my things. I think I used it on both hats. So yeah, as I said, I don't worry too much about getting really fine details. I am trying to add some darker colour where I know there would be some shadows. So for the hats, for example, you want them to look like they are rounded, so I add darker colour to the outside edges and leave a lighter colour down the centre. Here I'm just adding colour to the watermelon, and those little seeds would be a bit of a nightmare to watercolour around, for me anyway, so I just paint straight over them. And I've got I know I've got a secret weapon on my sleeve for that as well. So yeah, I just paint right the way over. So I did pull out another ink for the skin tone because I don't really have any skin tone colours, so I knew that I'd got like a peachy colour, so I just went with that. So here is my not so secret weapon. As you can see, I've finished the painting, and now I'm grabbing out some pencil crayons. I call them pencil crayons, but I think that makes no sense to you guys. Colouring pencils, but yeah, we call them pencil crayons here. So I've pulled some out and I've tested the colour at the top there so that I know that I've got the right shades to go with where I want. And then you need to make sure that you've got a really sharp pencil, and I add some colour right at the edge where the edge of the image is, some deepest colour there, and then I'm just shading up into the rest of the image. So when I'm doing the very edge, by the lines of the image, I'm holding my pencil really upright to use that really sharp point, but when I'm shading I'm holding it down, as you can see, almost perpendicular to my desk, my mat, so that I'm using the very edge, like a flatter edge of the crayon, so that I'm not going to end up with any dark bits where I don't want them. Now it did take me a while to make this card. I think I had just over 2 hours worth of footage, so to get it down into a manageable size for a video I have sped it up quite a bit. But you can, if you go to the little 3 dots in I believe it's the top right hand corner of your the screen on YouTube, if you click there you can change the playback speed, so you can slow it right down if that's what you want to do to see it better. So I just wanted to, I didn't want to cut any of the bits out so that you could see how the image evolved as I'm using it. But yeah, I was aware that 2 hours is a bit too long. So yeah, I'm just testing each of the colours as I'm moving on to the next sort of colour family, because I don't want there to be any surprises when I go to add a colour and it not look like what I expected. So I'm deepening the shadows around the edges of all of the different parts of the image, especially where they are rounded, and then for things like the hat, I'm adding some darker colour around where I think that there would be some creases in the material. This sort of colouring is, this sort of image is easy to colour in that it is cartoony. It's not meant to look real. You know, I'm going for a more cartoonish look, and I think when you tell yourself that, that takes away a little bit of the stress and worry, I think, to me anyway, because, you know, you want to enjoy crafting, and if you do something that you don't like and you feel like you've ruined it, it's just paper. And yeah, it's taken you time, but every mistake is a lesson, I feel like, and I've made quite a few, but I know that I've got plenty more in me. So yeah, for her hair, I quite enjoyed doing that, adding some of the deeper like amber sort of yellows in to make her plait look a little bit like it's got that shadow and shading. I chose the same 2 colours of pencil crayon to do both of the Nomi's skin colour, but I did use more of the slightly darker pencil on the girl's skin colour than the boy's, so he is looking very, very pale, and she's just a little bit less pale. I really need to invest in some skin colours, I think, because yeah, I got part way into this, up to about where I was about to put the skin colour on, when I realised that, oh no, what am I gonna do it as? So hopefully you can see that detail building up as I'm working it. Then when it comes to his beard, I wanted to make it a white, like whitey grey beard, but you want to add some shadow in that, because even a white object would have some shadow, would have darker and lighter parts. So if you just leave it completely white and flat, that is how it will look, totally flat. So I'm just adding some really light shading, just to bring that beard to life a little bit. So now I've got the coordinating die for this image, and I'm making sure it's really lined up well, and then adding a piece of low tack tape to either side. And once they're done, how cute are they? Okay, so for my background, I cut an A2 panel of this yellow cardstock that I had in my stash, and I'm just adding a little bit of distress ink, mainly around the edges, just to have a bit of contrast of colour. I feel like if my background is just a plain piece of coloured cardstock, I'm never really happy with it. So I just like to deepen the edges. So I'm doing that with some distress ink. Then I've got the Good Morning Sunshine stencil and the Shark Tooth ink from Ink on 3. Now this is the first time that I've used this ink, and I messed it up. You can see how much I'm putting on here. You really, really don't need that much. I put way too much on. So as a result of that, the ink actually like splodged underneath my stencil. It probably wouldn't have been as bad if I'd got some Pixie spray or something, but I haven't. I've just got it stuck onto the paper from behind. So you can see there the lines aren't brilliant, they're not very defined, but I don't want to start over, and I know that the gnomes will cover the majority of it. So I just gave that a quick dry with my heat gun. I've got a dual speed one, so I just dry it with the lower setting, and then I'm lining up the second stencil into place. It's really easy to line up because all of the stencils are laser etched, so you can line up those laser etchings with the what you've stenciled before, and I just used the little bit that was left on my brush to do that second stencil. So next I grabbed out the Modern Embossed Rectangle die set, just because I like the way that it finishes my card panels. I used the second to largest one for my ink blended panel, and then I grabbed out this teal turquoise cardstock from my stash again, and I'm using the largest rectangle to cut that out, so that largest one will be an A2 size. So you can see that even though I dried that ink, there was a little bit on, so when I ran it through my dye machine I got a bit of white ink on the plates, which then transferred to that turquoise cardstock, but I knew it was going to be covered, so I didn't mind. So if you've not seen those modern embossed dies before, they cut out your shape, but then they also put like an embossed line in really close to the cut, and I just think that it finishes off the panel really, really beautifully. So I've just used some wet glue to attach the ink blended panel onto my turquoise A2 panel, just because I like that bit of contrast around the edges. And then I've put some foam tape on the back of my Gnomey Gnomes and I've attached them on, and then I've stamped out and die cut Aloha. It's one of the sentiments from the Wish You Were Here stamp set, and I'm just adding that on with some of the thin foam squares that we carry. Okay, I'm choosing what I want to add on embellishment wise, and I just wanted to show you that recently I discovered that the little embellishment tubs, they fit into, that is a mini ink storage, the Distress mini ink storage, and yeah, you can fit loads of these in. I'm really, really excited, really happy to have discovered that. So I grabbed out the Amber Gems, which are from the latest release, and I've just tipped some into my tidy tray, and I'm using my pickup tool to put those into place, and it's really awesome. It's so easy to add embellishments when you've got them in that little tray and you've got something to use to pick them up. So I'm just deciding whereabouts I want them, where I think they look nice, and then I'm going to use some liquid glue to attach them into place. I know some people just put like a dot of glue and then put the embellishment straight on, but I can't live that dangerously. It's just not me. So here is my secret weapon for the watermelon seeds. This is a black glaze pen. It's from Sakura, and it's like a black glossy pen but with a bit of dimension, so it's perfect for the seeds. And then because I made his drink look like watermelon, I added some seeds in that too. So here you can see that glaze pen and also the beautiful shimmer that's on their hats. So that's my card. I hope that you like it. I hope that you will give it a go. If you feel like you have learned something, then I would love it if you would drop me a comment below to let me know. If you like this video, then hit that thumbs up. And if you aren't already subscribed to me, then I really would appreciate it if you would please consider it. And if you hit that bell, you'll be notified every time I post a new video. I hope that you have a lovely, happy, safe, wonderful week. Stay crafty. Bye.